Welcome to another video tutorial. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to work the half double crochet in the back loop only. I've started the swatch a little bit and you can start to see like the ribbed effect it's going to give. On this side you can see it was worked in the back loop only, and you can see on this side it was worked in the back loop only. So this is the front loop sort of sticking out here, and because every time you turn it over you're working in the back loop, you get this kind of indentation where this little ridge only happens every second row, and that gives you the ribbed effect, and it'll become more apparent as I work another couple of rows. I will show you at the end again how it will look. So I've just got a little stitch marker in here so that I don't lose where I was working. So I worked right up to the end of the row. You can see I'm in my last row here, last stitch here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 2 for my turning chain so that I can start working back again. So 1, 2. Now we're going to have to locate the back loop of the stitch. So if you pinch your work between your fingers, you can see there are these little V's on the top, and if you knit, these will look a little bit like knit stitches in stocking knit. So these are 2 loops of the same stitch. Each one of these is 1 stitch. So we're going to look at this white one over here because it's easier to see. We got a dark one here and a dark one here and a white one. So those 2 strands there are the 2 loops or legs of the same stitch. And we want to work into this back one over here. Now I don't mean in the very back of the stitch. If you turn it over, you could work into here, but we're not doing that. That is a different thing entirely. What we're doing is we're just working on the very top of our work. We're just working into this back loop over here. So obviously I'm going to start on this side, but I was just showing you with this white one because it's nice and clear here that you can see we're working into this back loop or leg of this stitch. So we've chained 2, so we've got to work, we're going to count 3 back from the hook, and that's the one we're going to work into. So 1, 2, this is the 3rd one, so we're going to work into this one. So you can see this is the front over here, and that is the back. We're going to work into the back only. So for the half double crochet we yarn over and then we insert our hook into this back loop only. You can see the front loop is still there. We're only working into the back. Yarn over and pull through a loop. We now have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and we're going to pull through all 3. That is your half double crochet, and we've done it just into the back there. So we can see this is the next stitch. Front, back. We're working into the back only. Yarn over, insert your hook into the back, draw through, yarn over, draw through all 3. And you can see this little line, same as down there, is starting to form up here. So again, here's the next one is dark. So we've got back loop and the front loop. We're working into the back loop only. And if you're working in, if you're working in other patterns that might not be designed for beginners or people who have done working in the back loop only, then they might just abbreviate this as BLO, and that means back loop only. So if they say half double crochet for the next row, BLO, that means back loop only. So I'm just going to finish this row. Yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop only, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I've gotten to the end of my row. I've got 1 more stitch left. I thought I would show you this because it can sometimes be a bit tricky for beginners to figure out which is the last kind of stitch. So it's easier to see here because I've got 2 different colors. This is the lighter color, that's the stitch I've already worked into, and this is my last stitch on the end here in these dark ones. So that is the front loop over there, and this is the back over there. So we're going to yarn over and we're going to insert our hook into this back here. There, you see we've just got the back loop, the front loop is still here, we're not working into that. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all three. And that is the last stitch of the row. And if you're working in a small swatch like this, you can count it. I would encourage beginners, when you're doing your small sort of, this is just 10 stitches, I would count each row to make sure that you're not accidentally increasing somewhere. So that's my first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is the end of this row. So we chain 2 to turn the row, and we flip it around. And as you can see, it's starting, you can, if I turn it like this, you can see there's a valley over here, and there's a peak over here, and there's a valley over here, and next we'll have another peak here. So you can see how the rib is starting to form. And if I flip it over, we've got 2 peaks and 1 valley, because obviously the peak on this side is going to be the valley on this side. But you can start to see how this up down is forming. And that's from working in the back loop only, you will get this ribbed effect. With this ribbed effect, you have to work a few rows before you will actually see this kind of ridged effect starting to happen. So I'm going to work one more row, and I will just show you how that looks at the end. So again, remember we're counting 1, 2 stitches, those are chain 2. So this is the 3rd stitch, this is the stitch we're working into, and we're just going into the back loop. Yarn over, insert your hook into the back loop, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So I finished my little swatch here, and as you can see, every second row is going to form this little peak and trough. So these little loops that are sticking out here are the front loops that we didn't work into. There's some more here. Now if I flip it over, then these again are the front loops that I didn't work into, and they're sticking out there. And where we worked into the back loop, they've gone, well, we've worked into the back loop every time, but because you're flipping it over, it kind of reverses front and back, and so you get the trough and the peak. And that is why I recommend, if you've never done this stitch before, work a small swatch, just 10 stitches or so that you can get the hang of it and see after a couple of rows, is it working? Are you doing the correct thing? Is it looking the way you want it to look? If your tension is a little bit loose, this up and down effect will be less exaggerated, and so you might want to go down a hook size just to make it a little bit tighter so that you get more of this ribbed effect. I hope that you found this tutorial useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to get more knitting and crochet tutorials in the future.